Welcome to the weekly dose of Emuna for Shabbat Kodesh. We're going to continue last week's Shabbat audio, and we're going to talk about the Beit HaMikdash and Shabbat Kodesh and try to come up with some more ideas and some more comparisons to really get involved and attach ourselves to the whole idea of Shabbat Kodesh and the Beit HaMikdash. As we know, in the Beit HaMikdash there was a menorah, and there were 3 mitzvot that were involved in preparing and lighting the menorah. One of them, 2 of them are actually more well known. One of them is called Hadlakat HaNerot. The second one is called Hatavat HaNerot. Hadlakat HaNerot means literally lighting the menorah. Hatavat HaNerot actually means preparing the menorah to be lit. In other words, what would happen, according to the Rambam teaches us that the Kohen would actually remove the old oil and the wicks and, of course, set new ones. That's what it actually means in essence in terms of Hatavat HaNerot. And it's an actual Torah mitzvah, right? And only the Kohen is the one who's able to actually put together, to carry out this mitzvah. Shabbat also has these 2 mitzvot. There is the idea of lighting the Shabbat candles, which is, of course, the woman's task to be done, which she's compared to the Kohen of her home. And there's the additional mitzvah of preparing the candlesticks, right? If it means polishing them or putting in new oil and wicks and candles and so on and so forth. And the Mishnah Brura actually comes and teaches us that it's proper that the husband should actually do this preparation. Hatavat HaNerot is actually the man's mitzvah. So the husband prepares, the wife lights, and in this way, it's a sense of bringing together a perfect unity, a harmony between husband and wife, and enables the menorah to be lit as in the Beit HaMikdash. There's also the idea of the Kohen Gadol, who had to immerse himself first in a mitzvah, in the mikvah, in order to be prepared to do this important tafkid. So too do we go ahead and we bathe ourselves and wash ourselves just before, accepting the Shabbat. Many men, their minhag is to go and actually even tovel in the mikvah on Erev Shabbat, if not every day. Then there's the idea and the aspect of the table. In the Beit HaMikdash, we know that the Lechem HaPanim rested on this beautiful golden shulchan, golden table, and that resembles our beautiful Shabbat table. And there's the idea of the Lechem HaPanim, of course, which were also put out on the table. And it's actually customary to put roses in particular because of their fragrance, as written in Shir HaShirim. Just as the rose is prepared for Shabbat and Yom Tov, so is Yisrael. It's also, we adorn the table as best as possible and to make it look beautiful, to give it its proper honor and respect as the table in the Beit HaMikdash. Also, it's also a custom in almost every Jewish home on Shabbat to sing Zmirot, and they're not just regular nice songs. They're singing songs in terms of our Avodat Hashem, and it's likened to the idea of the Levi'im in the Beit HaMikdash, that they too would go ahead and would sing songs. So to wrap this idea up, what we need to understand is that we need to look at Shabbat Kodesh in a sense of awe, just like we view the Beit HaMikdash, and it's actually a positive Torah mitzvah, that we should be in awe of the Beit HaMikdash, as it's written in the Rambam writes in Hilchot Bet HaBechira. He writes, "You shall fear my Mikdash." So just as we fear the Beit HaMikdash, we're in awe of its magnificence and glory, so too, Be'ezrat Hashem, we are supposed to as well have that sense of awe for the coming of Shabbat. That doesn't mean we should be trembled or we should be under tremendous pressure and fear it. God forbid, that's not the idea. The idea of it all is that we should, all that pressure that we have to prepare for the Shabbat Kodesh is actually rooted in the idea that there is an aspect of fearing Shabbat coming and us not being prepared in the proper way. And so that is, we should know that when a person has that tension on Erev Shabbat, it's actually rooted in the mitzvah of fearing Shabbat as we fear, so to speak, the Beit HaMikdash as well, because we recognize that we're about to attain a very exalted level on Shabbat Kodesh, and that is something that we, so to speak, are in awe of, where, we have reverence towards that. Be'ezrat Hashem, when we look at Shabbat Kodesh, we should feel like we're entering into the aura of this magnificent house of Hashem. And essentially, Hashem is our esteemed guest, the guest of Shabbat Kodesh every Shabbat, and Be'ezrat Hashem have the sense of reverence towards Shabbat, but not in a fearful way, in a way of, wow, I'm about to experience the higher me. I'm about to experience the soul that I've been running after and trying to recognize and become aware of all week long. Baruch Hashem. It's time for Shabbos. It's time to meet the real me. Have a wonderful Shabbat Kodesh, a wonderful Hanukkah Shabbat Kodesh.